What is up, YouTube? Today I'm in a 1951 Chevy 3100 series pickup truck, and this truck is the Advanced Design series. So basically it came out in 1947, late 1947 to early 1955, and is one of the first, well, it is the first model that came out after World War II. So they wanted to have a new sleek design. In my opinion, it looks really sick. It's got the nice bull nose to it. So today, what I'm gonna be doing is showing you guys a quick little review, showing you guys the exterior, what the truck has, what it doesn't, all the original parts to it, and there's something else in this thing. It's not fully original, but I'll show you guys that later in the video. But as far as the interior goes, the interior is very old. To me, the gauge cluster kind of looks like airplanes. It reminds me of aeronautical stuff for some reason. And you have the nice chrome dashboard, if they even called it a dashboard back then. But up in the top, in the center of the dashboard, that's where the old original radio used to be. I believe it was just an AM radio. What you'll see in the bottom is obviously an aftermarket modern radio system. So yeah, it's got subs and a couple speakers here and there. Sounds okay. So looking to the right of the interior, you have this big glove box. Now, they took pride in their trucks back then, and they actually put a pretty decent glove box in the truck. So yeah, I like that part too. As far as gauges go, I mean, it just has 0 to 80. I believe the 51 was the first year they actually got it up to 80 miles an hour on the speedometer, which is pretty cool. And they got the gasoline, the fuel tank as far as the level goes, the battery. You also got the temperature and then the oil pressure. None of these gauges work, I believe, because they don't look like it when I'm driving. It always says full tank, which is a lie. So what we put in there, well, what my dad put in, was the oil pressure gauge and just the temperature gauge for the engine. So we know if it's running low on oil or overheating, so the two main things. Now, looking down at the floorboard, you see a few holes here and there. On the very left, what you see there, that's going to be the e-brake. And then on the left, you got some little button, and that is actually your high beams. So you just go and you press the high beams. That's how you flash people. What you see right next to the high beams is a hole, and that's where the clutch went. Now, what this truck originally had was a 3 on the tree. It also came in the 4 on the floor, but this one was a 3 on the tree. And then we converted it into just, we put a turbo 350 in here, so it's automatic now. So thus the 2 pedals and the big foot pedal, of course, you can't forget that. And on the right of that, there's another hole, and that's actually where the starter used to be. So you would just sit there, press on the gas, hit the starter for the to start up the truck. I mean, there's no other way to put it. Now, my favorite part of the truck, I believe, is just the little shifter. It's kind of cool. It's the skull. But yeah, it's just your basic Prindle. You know, you got park, reverse, neutral, drive, or overdrive, and then you got 2 and 1 because it is a 3-speed. And then if you look further to the right, you see the heater. Now, the heater is pretty cool. I believe that one's original. I don't see why it isn't because it's pretty old. But the heater works very well. Down here in South Texas, it's not ideal. But yeah, so we got a heater. And you're wondering, where's the AC? Well, they didn't really have AC back then, but they kind of did at the same time. Now, they had a little clever trick here. They have a lever down at the bottom, and you push it down all the way, and you have a scoop up in the front, which thus takes in the air, allowing you to get some nice cool, well, I wouldn't even say cool, just air moving through the truck. And you also got the regular side windows that open up. Now, what we have here is just it's an aftermarket steering wheel. Not too sure of the brand, kind of don't really care. I know the original ones were very big, but there's no power steering in this truck at all. And with a smaller steering wheel, it makes it pretty hard to turn. I know the steering ratio is pretty outrageous. It takes like 20 turns just to get it to fully lock. But yeah, so no power steering, which sucks. You get a little workout in real quick, and no power brakes. And I don't know if many of you know, but most of pretty much all modern vehicles have power brakes. So you really have to step on these brakes just to even get it to stop. I mean, you're not really going to stop. You're not going to win any awards for the shortest distance, but it'll somewhat get you there. Oh, and one little cool thing, it's definitely aftermarket, but believe it or not, this truck is push button start. If you don't believe me, I mean, yeah, it is push button start. Whenever I fire it up, I'll show you. It's pretty cool. All right, so I'm about to fire it up. Turn the key on. Gauges work, they don't really do anything, like I said before, and then just press the push button start. She fires right up. Recently we just got her running. My dad's been trying to get her to dial in, and I'm pretty sure she's dialed in pretty good right now. But yeah, like I know what you're thinking. It doesn't sound like the original 6-cylinder that it came in. No, it's got a 350 swap with a 327 crank in there. It's around like a 330 cubic inch or 333 because it's bored over a little bit. But yeah, she runs like a champ, pushing around 300 horsepower. Original frame and suspension, so as you can guess, it's super sketchy. It's got the C-channel frame, so it's not strong whatsoever. Now get this, it has drum brakes all the way around with no power brakes. Imagine how that stops. It doesn't. It basically doesn't stop. It's got leaf springs all the way around, which is kind of crazy. You can definitely tell. It's got a 3-speed 350 turbo tranny in here, and it has, I believe it's an LSD, a limited slip or a posi trac, same thing, differential in the rear. Now unfortunately all of the clutch packs in here are in the yeah, I gotta turn real quick, doing a UE, and this is pretty tough going slow, but all of the clutch packs we believe are all burnt out because it does the infamous one-wheel peel, and we're hoping it actually has a posi trac in the back or the posi rear end, just because if it doesn't, we'd be lied to. We haven't even opened it up yet. But yeah, my initial response though, as far as driving it goes, I mean, it's definitely a death trap. Right now, while I'm just talking real quick, I'm just cruising it on closed roads at the moment, just because it needs all of my attention to drive. And yeah, I'll take it on the road here in a little bit though. Plus I don't want to waste too much gas because it just eats up fuel. But it is quite something else. I mean, like I said, it's got about half a turn worth of play. Like I'm turning the wheel right now and it's not turning, it's just going straight. Brakes, I mean, that's stomping on the brakes and I'm still rolling. There we go, finally done. But oh, I mean, it sounds good. This is yeah, it's definitely an eye catcher too. Now this truck is pretty small in stature. I believe it or not, I believe it weighs like around 3,300 or 3,500 pounds. It's pretty light. I mean, all it is just sheet metal. There's no electronics, no airbags, no seat belts. So yeah, I mean, it's a fairly light truck, and for it to be having 300 horsepower at the crank, I mean, it'll scoot along. But these trucks came in 3 different sizes. You got the half ton, the regular 3/4 ton, and then you got the full ton. Just like today's trucks, but obviously less payload and all that. Now they have these body styles in the panel trucks. I believe that's what it is. My brother keeps on correcting me like 5 times. But and they also have them in the cab over style. Now I like the cab over a lot. Yeah, I think it looks pretty sweet. But in the back, on the bed, all it is just wood. There's nothing. If you look underneath, it's just wood, which is pretty cool. Now, a lot of people might hate the color, especially because it kind of contradicts itself. That is an airplane flying over us. But a lot of people hate the color, or they probably might, just because it is a Ford blue. I can't remember the exact name of it, but it is
Ford medium bright blue.
Ford medium bright blue. Yeah, so it's a Ford color on a old Chevy truck, which kind of contradicts itself, but I mean, I like the color a lot. Yeah, I mean, going up to speed, where I live, we got some pretty terrible roads. It does not handle too well. I mean, you just got to have a good grip as far as the play on the steering wheel, and just expect that you are not going to go where you want it to go, and you'll be fine. Now this thing turns a lot of heads. It's kind of annoying. I wouldn't say it's annoying. Whenever people start slowing down just to get a good look at the truck and impede traffic, that's when it gets annoying. But a lot of older people, a lot of older crowds like it. Even the younger kids, they give you a thumbs up and everything. So I mean, if you like attention, you can definitely, I guess, invest in one of these. But it's definitely nice. I mean, I like it a lot. It's really cool. Now these trucks back then, when you could buy them, the MSRP on these was $1,400. That is $1,400. So yeah, it is cheap. I mean, it was back in 1951, but still, just for the price of that. I mean, today, if you have a pretty terrible, pretty rough condition truck, it's probably $6,500 now. If you have mint condition, it's in the 60s or $70,000 range. So yeah, you're looking at a pretty pricey truck. It's not too far up in the collector's items, but it's definitely getting there. There we go.
How to make that turn quick?
Huh?
So how to make that turn quick?
So that's going to sum up the video. If you like the content, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you like my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'll be posting these videos often. This truck will not leave the channel. It's been passed through the family, so I'm going to have it keep its legacy. We're going to keep on working on it, make it better and more drivable. So with that being said, I'll see y'all next video.